Hello and welcome to this video. I was inspired to do this from a few things I saw on WhatsApp. It's a little past midnight and I was in a program, and after the program I was just scrolling through my messages, and from that I realized it has come to the point where maybe I could also give my opinion on what is happening. And it has to do with this trending issue in Ghana recently. It's been on the waves, taking center stage for about a week now, having to do with the Chinese and the fact that they seem to be taking undue advantage of our resources here in Ghana and doing things that are destroying our water bodies, specifically galamsey, which is the illegal mining of gold here in Ghana. Now, before I go to that, I also realized, that is from the WhatsApp I was reading, that the mayor of Lusaka had to apologize to the Chinese for making some remarks in their factory in his country, Lusaka, and it's just looks like, because people have so many opinions about what he said, some in support, some against. It looks to me as though, as Africans, we are directing our anger, so to speak, on Chinese very wrongly. We are not focusing on the problem that we have. And you see, that's typical of us. When we have the opportunity to solve a problem, we rather look at what causes it. And even with that, we get it wrongly and bring some remote causes, which in the end of the day does not add up much. The Chinese are here to do business. They were given permits to come and work in Ghana. Now, if any of them is engaged in illegal mining, the government of the day, through its agencies, should have stopped them. People have spoken out in Ghana for some time about this illegal mining, but it looks like the typical nature of an African, something tragic has to happen before we look at situations and try to solve them. Even with that, I don't know, we just take decisions. Sometimes that does not even help. I'm saying this a bit passionately because the Lusaka mayor, as I said, having to apologize. People have said it was wrong and he shouldn't apologize. He's in his own country and whatnot. But you see, there are agencies and there are people who are being paid to have done thorough check before what he did. He went to the offices and the factories of these people, the Chinese, and things were going wrong there. And so he made some remarks out of passion. Okay, but if the people who were being paid were doing their work right, it wouldn't have gotten to that extent. And that's what we are seeing today. If people had done their work right in Ghana, we wouldn't have had that tragic situation, so that we go now and place bans on mining. And it's like all kinds of minings. I saw it in the newspapers, whether legal or illegal, have all been suspended, that kind of thing. I don't know, maybe spending investigation and things like that. But we could have done something about this before it deteriorated to this level. That is where I want to draw our attention to. The Chinese are not our enemies. That is what I believe. And from the facts that I know, if they were to be our enemies, this is not how we would have had it. Okay, they only come to work, and in so doing, we the Ghanaians, I live on the Kumasi Obuasi Road, where they pass to Obuasi where there's gold to mine. And I see them a lot in their pickups going there to do their work. Usually you find 1, 2, 3 Chinese with so many Ghanaians around that person going to do the work. And I believe that they were given that right by us, the Ghanaians, to do that. They don't know where we even have these mines and where they can find gold. It is Ghanaians who lead them there. I believe that if we did that and we let some of them to go and mine illegally, then the institutions that have been put in place to make sure this does not happen should have cracked the whip long ago, not now. But you see, as I said, unless something tragic happens, we take no action on people who do wrong. And so they get away with it. Every morning I'm coming to work, and I believe you can, what I'm going to say, you can really, what do I say? You can relate to it, okay? Because coming to work every morning, you will find drivers, our truck drivers, driving on the shoulders of the road, trying to overtake everybody and beat time. Now, who do I blame? There are people who are paid and whose duty it is to make sure that this kind of carnage does not happen. So until somebody is knocked down or until there's a problem, nothing will be done, because we have police around and they just look on whilst this is done. I'm saying it because of the experience I have here at where I stay. You see, we see our ministers and our MPs riding with, those sirens and honking anytime they are going to their parliament, for when they are usually late actually. And the ordinary man thinks that because of the way they do it, they can also do it. So anybody having a V8, any Land Cruiser, those kind of vehicles, would just want to go without due recourse to the road, how do you call it? Sorry. Without giving that due recognition to our safety rules that we have in this country. You see them a lot. Every morning, some Land Cruiser will just have to go because others have been doing it and goes scot-free. This country and our road safety regulations, I'm so sure, dead sure, that ministers and MPs are not supposed to do that. But they do it anyway, and nobody holds them accountable or responsible. See, when the truck driver is doing that, it's because he knows that nobody will hold him accountable. Nobody will hold him responsible for that. He will not be charged anything, and so he takes his chances and he does that. Maybe once in a while the police may get fumed and arrest 1 or 2 drivers and take monies from them. And even these monies does not go, mostly, I'm not saying all the time, but mostly does not go to the government. It goes to their own pockets. And so the driver decides that if I'm caught, I'll give this to them, and that is it. And it even translates into the fare that is taken in our trotro. You see, we set for problems to aggravate, and then the society deteriorates until it's at the messy level, and then something tragic happens, then we try to take action. And that is where we will not be in the right state of mind to decide properly. We just take actions anyhow, anyway. Sorry to use that word. But we have leaders who are supposed to know better and do things right. I am a leader myself. I have people under me. If I do things right, my subordinates will have to do what is right, because I'll demand of them what is right. And I believe that if everyone does that, that is, if all of us should do that, our subordinates will do what is right. We will demand that things are done properly in this country. But here's the case, we find ourselves behaving anyhow and letting go of, even when people are caught, they are made to go because of one political affiliation or the other, or because of one kind of consideration or the other. And so the ordinary man does what is wrong, and a sledgehammer is used to whack him down. Meanwhile, the same thing is done by one of our MPs, one of our ministers, and I'm not saying all of them are like that, but it translates to the kind of seriousness we have in this society, because we take things for granted. It seems like we cannot get things right, and it should always be so. That is why we look up to others as the cause of our problems. Okay, the Chinese man is doing his work in Ghana, it becomes a problem. He's doing his work elsewhere, he becomes a problem. No, he is not the problem. We are the problem. If we can make sure that every action of we the citizens is such that we are held responsible for our actions, then things will work out better. That is why we have places that looks like they can never change, because it's a no-go area to do what is right. And there are many of such examples in this our country. I am calling upon the leaders in my own small way to let us do what is right. Let us lead by example, so that at the end of the day, we would have people doing same. And our enforcement agencies, let us enforce the law, not selectively, but universally. Saying this, I can do what is wrong, and then someone gets me and say, aha, you were the one speaking on social media the last time, and so we'll do this to you. It happens a lot of time. What I mean is, it should be universal. Let us make sure that our actions do not lead us to regret 2, 3, 10 years from now, so that our society deteriorates so much that those coming after us would always be blaming us that we didn't do things right. Please leave the Chinese alone. Please leave the foreigners alone. If you don't want them here, it doesn't start from attacking them. It starts from letting them come to the country in the first place. And I believe they being here is not a threat. They're only doing their businesses. But they take advantage, just like how ordinary Ghanaians, ordinary Africans like you and I also take advantage of the system that we find ourselves in. There are people who are very genuine. There are Chinese who are very genuine. There are Africans who are very genuine, who will not take advantage of the system unduly. But the nature of man, if we leave these things unchecked, unsupervised, we will have these problems. And so please, my fellow Ghanaians, and I'm not speaking as president, I'm not, but the way this is going on is just far too much. I wish I was in leadership position, but I hear that sometimes when you are there, things change. Maybe the resources are just not present. Maybe the will to do what is right are usually, cloud. What can I say? They are just not present. You can't do it because of maybe how you got to that leadership position in the first place. And so I don't envy leaders. But once you find yourself there, let us try hard to do what is right, so that the next generation of people would have something from us that they can be proud of. You and I would be the ones, and are the only ones, to make this country, this continent succeed. I am not very good at doing videos. That is why maybe this one is even long. I couldn't summarize very well, but I have been inspired to do this, and I know some of you can do the same. Let us talk where we find ourselves for others to hear. Our leaders are taking us too much for a ride. Not all of them, but most of them. What can we do? Do your part. Stay blessed.